her house to wherever she went to, she captured at least 2 massive refuse heaps.
Wow.
And some of them, it was like, it's one thing to heap it up in one place. There was one particular one in the video. It was like, as she was driving, it was just following her. Like for about 100 meter stretch, it was spread out. Of course, if I ask people to guess now for urgent 5K, I'm sure at least the first 2 people will guess where that particular mess was recorded. But the truth is that Abuja is still dirty and we will not relent about it. So call me up. Call us up. Let's even start with you this morning and talk about it. I think last week when we touched on it briefly during Townhall, there was a suggestion that came up that was catching fire. We'll come back to that suggestion as well. But let's start with you this morning. Really and truly, are we overflogging this thing? Have you really driven from one end to the other, going to wherever it is you were going to, and you did not encounter something that's an environmental concern, whether it's a refuse dump, whether it is suck away, busted pipes and all of that, so that when we get into the conversation proper, we know where to direct our efforts. I know that some of satellite towns are experiencing this. Mazi is here. I don't know, Mazi, is there one particular place, or are there now so many that we just, it's just...
Most satellite towns are generally dating because the contractors that was mentioned last week, I think they are not really working in the satellite towns. Their focus is in the town here, like you have Maitama, Sokoro, Wuse, and so on and so forth. So what you have going on in the satellite town is still the people are still using the bola. Or maybe when you gather it, they have one ditch somewhere where you go and throw it. But here we have a really terrible attitude when it comes to keeping our environment clean. A friend yesterday, I went to see somebody around Pape, was saying that once it's raining, somebody will just bring out whatever he has in the nylon bag and just throw it, and then the flood will carry it to the next person's compound or so. So I just don't know, because when you go to some of these places, especially you go to some places in Pape, in Kubwa, that are not well planned, where there are no drainages, nothing. But you know how they build those kind of a jegule kind of this thing. It's really a mess. I mean, you just step out from your door, you are faced with one rubbish or the other. So I think that in as much as we can cry, yes, that the government, they haven't done anything in the satellite town, just like we said last time. But I think that we have to, take up that thing or create a system. The local government, this is where they need to come in. Just like I was suggesting. We are not asking them, when you call them, everybody's looking at them, bringing in billions and billions. No. Just like we suggested last week, it could be to the traditional ruler, coordinate this, do you understand me? And then the local government can just produce the truck, or what do you call this, tipper kind of thing, to just be taking them to a place where it will be where you can dump it. So we cannot, continue to go like this. If they are not doing anything, help ourselves. Water board is not in everywhere. But there is no place you go to in Abuja today that you won't get water. So people are doing boho, which has a environmental issue as well. I hope you know that too many bohos around is not good. But since they've not...
too many boreholes around?
Yeah, too many boreholes is not good for our environment. You remember when we had that tremor or something some years back? I think some people linked it to, a lot of... But borehole, how it works, creating so many holes here and there. So it has its own issue as well. We are not supposed to be sinking borehole everywhere. It's not done. So it is somehow, but since government hasn't provided water everywhere, people make alternatives. So there is no serious planning. Satellite towns for refuse collection and disposal. Let us find a better way. Stop throwing it inside the ditch. You go to Phase 4 bridge. But you find people in expensive cars who throw in
I heard about that one for
the
the first time last week. But speaking about satellite town, really and truly, there was concerted effort to reach out to the Satellite Town Development Department to see if they can come and speak on this matter, because it is part of what they're supposed to do. It's under their purview for the satellite towns to ensure that waste management, waste collection is sorted out. Before we now come back to AEP, because I remember when the complaints started coming up a lot this year, that was the first question I asked. Where does the work of AEP AEPB start and stop? Meanwhile, I have it on relatively good authority that there were actually from our news team, our reporters, there was an interview conducted sometime last week with some officials of, I think it was either AEPB or AMMC, one of the two, and this concern was raised about how dirty it is, how refuse heaps are not being cleared and all of that. And the conversation, if I remember correctly, was that they had started to reach out to some of these places. So again, I'm saying two things now, and we're going to just open up the phone lines to allow you people to react for the next 10 minutes or so. Two things now. One of them, is there anywhere, maybe you were on route somewhere this morning and there was not a concern about dirt, suckaways and all of that, because we've gotten reports about this thing happening from everywhere in Wuse 2. I remember Adeomi Daniels on top of this matter, especially around a busted sockaway pipe or something like that in the Wuse 2 axis, all the way to Jabi, all the way to the satellite towns and the outskirts and all of that. So, but if you have indeed driven past any area and this was not a concern, let me know. I know that on my way to work, I encountered one proper refuse heap. In fact, that one has been there ever since I know that area. I'm talking about the Dape area. I think it's Dape bus stop, they call it. Right before Dape bus stop, on your way to Karimu Market. That one is a staple. As a matter of fact, if you want to describe certain areas to somebody, that's a landmark. You say you will pass a big refuse heap on the left. So there is that. But also, if maybe AEPB has gotten to your area, from the report that I got last week that they started doing some cleanup, please let me know as well. So let's talk very quickly. We'll come back to the elders. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my sister.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jamilu, calling from Osako.
Welcome, Jamilu.
Mazi, Destiny Anthony. Nice to meet you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
You are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
We always appreciate your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
Honestly, about this environmental sanitation and people and the way you meet garbage along the street and some area, like here in Utako, honestly, the AEBB people, the contractors they give, they are off and on. So maybe it's the way and manner they sign the contract. But sometimes you will see them stay away for more than a week, and then they will come back and do the needful.
Okay.
So what we want to suggest is that government to have contract with a recycling company. Thank God people like Mazi are here. We have to talk on that matter. When you look at the way some other advanced countries did, like China and other countries, your dustbin is your money. That's the moment you gather it, people are waiting to buy it from you. I have a cousin in China that there is no any way you walk in the street, you see a leather. One leather like this, you pick it. Rubber like this, you pick it, you gather. You know that you are keeping money.
Yeah.
So when people know that their garbage is their money, nobody will go to under the bridge and throw away the garbage you gather in his house. Everybody will manage his dirty. So the moment we manage you manage your own, I manage my own, I keep it, I sell it, I make money. Tomorrow, one leather will not be out of the street. So it's a welcome idea for the government to buy the idea and to sanitize the street, and will be good for our health.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's we want to talk about it later.
Thank you so much, Jamil.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I like that.
What Jamilu said
he wants to take it up with you.
Yeah, what Jamilu
outside of this conversation. Mazi, did I say you not hear that part?
No. I heard him. I'm cool with that. But just like he said, he mentioned this leather, this thing that it's true. Right? You sort. They will even give you different disposable rubbish collection bag so that you can sort them.
Yes.
Then the ones that can decay, the people who do this biogas, biofuel or so, come to buy that off from them, because you heap it somewhere, it decomposes, and they will use it to produce the biogas, which is even better for the environment. That is a good thing. The suggestion he gave is amazing, because that, for the fact that if you are able to collect, let's say, 10 kg of metal or 10 kg of the nylon, even if it's the sachet water, this thing that we use, you are getting something. That is an incentive to make you keep everywhere clean. You'll even go beyond your own environment.
Oh, yes.
That will help as well.
Honestly, I was going to come to that at some point because I wanted to look at what has been done over time. I had made mention of the mayor, Fortune, and as far back as 2021, the initiative that he set up as mayor to clean up the streets of Abuja. And I was going to come to that and talk about, okay, what can we do to expand on things like that? Because I remember even at that time, it was a case of, some good, well-meaning people, citizens. There was a lady who used to come all the way from Kubwa to town to just join to the numbers and join in the cleanup. They would go and clean markets, and stuff like that. And even though they gathered the waste, at some point there was still the role that the agencies needed to do to come and collect the waste and then take it to
the proper
places. I remember after the first one, it was rather overwhelming. They had to pause, re-strategize, and come back again. So when we're looking at what we can do for ourselves or by ourselves, there is that element of gather, collect properly, and then maybe we now create a value chain. That's why I'm so happy with what Jemilu said and the fact that he said he was going to take it up with you. That's why I was trying to, remind you, Mazi, this is money.
This is money.
You get? So create some kind of a value chain. There are people who will gather. There are some people who would collect, move to certain points, and then there are people who would then convert. I remember speaking about it about a month ago or so on when I was on the Sunny Side SWAT show. The element she calls the exchange or so, and we talked a great deal about what China is doing with their waste. It was so bad at one particular point that the whole of China was in uproar about how bad their waste management was. Right? And so they've converted it from a problem to such a source of energy, such a resource that as at then, when I was giving that report, China was looking to import waste.
Wow.
They were looking to import waste so that they can convert it to energy. So on the overall scheme of things, there is waste to wealth.
Yeah, waste to wealth.
And then from waste to wealth, there are different ways. How can you generate wealth from waste? China has gone beyond on the side of the people, where they are because they're able to gather their waste and give it to them, they are making money from it. Then they, as a country, have now moved from just waste to converting it to energy. And a lot of their industries run on the waste of the people. So much so that they need to import waste. So again, we're having this conversation because I remember one of the initiatives that came up last week when we had this was, okay, let's go back to doing environmental sanitation. And really and truly, it was an initiative that it happens in other parts of the country. At a point, the mayor took it up. In a way, it was kind of like environmental sanitation, right? They will even go to markets. I think there was a market that now decided to bring back environmental sanitation inside the market because of that initiative that the mayor was doing. But how about you? Right now, you are listening and you are thinking there's this huge heap of refuse, whether it's on top of FHA bridge or is on the road along Gogolada axis. Can we create some sort of a community where there's a value chain that allows for these things to be properly managed and converted to earning streams for us? Maybe if we just let people come and do environmental sanitation, they are not gingered enough. How about if you think about how that can be converted to wealth for you? Will that move you? Again, we're having this conversation, not excluding or excusing the relevant agencies that are responsible for this. We'll come back to them in a bit. Like I said, we're trying to bring one of them on, but unfortunately, they're not here. We will not relent. I've said it, this is going to be the major driver of our town hall conversation until we get to a point where our health is not at risk. Our children are not at risk. Even driving on the road is not going to be a problem for you because people are trying to dodge death. As the human beings are dodging death, the cars too are dodging death, and all of that. So we will try and get them to come and give us updates. But first of all, how far with us? How far with us? From how you use it to how you trash it. Have you thought about how you can convert it to well, I like the fact that Jemilu said you talk to Mazi. I will follow inside that conversation. I go meet you now for backyard because I'm I'm looking at the opportunities that can come from that, because we can't keep having these conversations, and nobody's speaking, nobody's saying anything, and it keep piling up, and we keep complaining. Now, I'd ask that people should call in or let me know from what route to what route they took today, and if it was free of any environmental concerns, whether judge or not. No, that's what I'm saying now.
Okay.
What I'm getting is the reverse. I said, I know if I ask for people to send me evidence of death, they will send me. I just wanted to be sure that we are not sitting on this and it's
for too long, as if it's not necessary.
And it's not a problem, do you get? So I haven't gotten any response from anyone as to, I passed this road to road. This is not an issue. What I'm getting is the reverse. So let's actually look at what I'm getting. Let's see. Wale had written earlier saying, I can send you 4 different locations where attention is needed urgently from the FCT Water Board and AEPB. And I asked him to send, and he has sent some. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if this is... the audio might not go out. Or rather, you don't know what you're hearing. And it's a 5-second recording. I don't know if you can make sense of it, but let's see if this video will even play. Okay. So this one now is not a refuse heap. This is a water body issue, just like I had mentioned, right? Water just wasting away. The problem, I can't tell if this is a water body issue or this is a burst pipe. Mazi, do you know how to tell the difference?
I think this one is a
water board.
Yeah, it's
the water looks clean. Yeah. Okay, so these are areas that we can draw the attention to, at least fix it. That's clean, good water that is wasting away. And then let it not get to the point where you now have to shut down all of water. I think last time they shut down water in some areas, it lasted for as much as a week. And people were having to call what they call this? Meruwa. So let's see that one. Thank you for sending that in, Wale. Let's see. Okay. The Queen says here, please help me thank Mazi for always being there for this show.
More talk, news and sports after this.
We'll come back with the thanks. Let's take this break.
5 of I Beg to Differ, the national finals, is here. It's a triple threat of debate brilliance, 3 high-stakes battles, 6 extraordinary minds, 1 stage, and a shot at national glory. At 3 p.m., Majesty Joseph Ojochegbe takes on Chikwere Masi Roost in a thought-provoking clash. The Nigerian academic curriculum is adequately preparing students for the future. Is our educational system ready for tomorrow or stuck in the past? At 4 p.m., it's Olajolo Akinloluwa versus Abu Francis Helen Ebo, debating the hard-hitting topic, parents who push their children into sport careers are exploiting them. Is it opportunity or exploitation? And at 5 p.m., the day's grand finale, Amuzie David battles Esther Joseph on the big question, Nigeria's problems are caused more by bad leadership than corruption. Which is the greater enemy, our leaders or the system? 3 debates, 3 winners, and 1 step closer to becoming the I Beg to Differ national champion. The I Beg to Differ Nationals is proudly supported by Obi Weezy, Ejanla Foods, Christian Schools, Massey Children's Hospital, and the Lekki Conservation Centre. I Beg to Differ, the Tournament of Champions.
access up to 2 million naira interest-free loan.
Welcome back. It's still your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. The time is 10:30, meaning that we have about half an hour and maybe a little extra change to wrap up the conversation that we are on this morning. I have said and I maintain that the number of complaints that we've gotten about how dirty this town is and how it continues to be dirty despite the complaints, despite the cries for help and all of that. I've said that we will stay on this until we start to see a considerable change being done. Now, when we are speaking about change and improvement when it comes to waste management in the FCT, there are a number of stakeholders involved, right? To a large extent, we, the residents, the people, are one of the primary stakeholders. Primary in the sense that when it is taken care of properly, it is to our benefit. When it is not taken care of properly, it is to our woe, because the health implications, Navigo Safara, the diseases that come with it. I mean, consider your children. There was a time when there was a cholera outbreak, and you just find yourself going to the hospital over and over and over again. God forbid that it should get to that point where we cannot now but be falling ill from all of the things that are happening concerning waste management in the FCT. And so, as far as we being the primary stakeholders, conversations have also come up about how we can do something about it. If you are lucky, you are in an organized community or an estate where you have the services of a private collector who will come pack your dirt. Some people have the benefit of that. But even if it is not dirty, or you don't have refuse heaps in your estate, whether you like it or not, you are going to pass roads where you now have to, if you don't have the benefit of AC in your car and you have to wind down, God forbid, that all of the stenches and everything will just be hitting you left, right, and center. So it might be looking good in your estate, but once you come out of your estate and you have to go past any of these places, it doesn't bode well for us and our health altogether. Last week, an element of the conversation came up, and some people said, look, we need to go back to doing environmental sanitation. I think that happens every month. Yeah, it used to happen every month, last Saturday of every month, right? And some people had issues with it, and some people say, no, this is the way forward. And I refer back to 4 years ago, 2021, when we had Fortune, the mayor, on what's happening in Abuja, taking this up as an initiative to say, look, this dirt that you're complaining about in this area, if I tell you, come and pack it with me, will you? And it started small, but then it grew. It became a thing. It became some sort of a culture. And they had their challenges. There were some challenges, that maybe affected it somehow. But there's just this sense of community, knowing that we can come together and take care of our own environment. So, again, if we were to go back to those days, last week, the complaint, people were like, it's not my responsibility. It's federal government or it's government. They have this, they have this, they have that. And we're saying, look, even if you decide to take it up as yourself, there are opportunities in it. It's not just waste collection. It's something that can be much bigger, much bigger, but it depends on if we're able to put our heads together and make it work. But I'll come back to you, Mazi. Are you for environmental sanitation, for example? Or if not, once in a month? I know some markets do it every Thursday. There's some markets you go to Thursday morning, they don't open until 10 a.m.
Yeah,
they're doing cleanup.
Yeah.
I know there's some markets that are like that. How can we make this like a thing? Say we were to take environmental sanitation now. If you are for the argument, except you're not for it, then we'll hear your sides to that. But if we were to take it up as a thing, how do you think we can make it work and we can sustain it? Because even in Lagos that they do it every month, there are still complaints. Lagos is dirty. Lagos is smelling. It was a cause of controversy a couple of months ago. Some people were complaining. But then I remember seeing a video. Even after they complained, they did environmental sanitation. There was one particular bridge that was very, very notorious for having dirt under it, and people will still sleep around there. The government went, packed it. 2 weeks later, the dirt was back there.
I love the fact that as we are discussing this, if you look at the TV now, that is what they are saying. That person is essay to the governor.
It's okay
on this. Now look at the angle they are coming. Like as you are talking, I saw that they were able to like divide this into like 4 different sectors.
Okay.
In terms of weight, they have the glass where you can collect broken glasses.
Yes.
It can be recycled as well. They have paper, like your office paper and so on. The what do you call it? It could be pack of stuff, newspaper and so on. You have that of metal, and then there is one for the plastic. Different sectors, and I saw that for now it's something that is worth like about $20 billion or so, and they are looking forward to pushing it up to $100 billion, and they say it can generate as much as 250,000 jobs. If we are not concerned about our health, can we look at the wealth that can come from it? The kind of money that we can. So just choose one thing that should motivate you to be involved.
In what? Environmental sanitation?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If it's not about you having a healthy environment, like you talked about, if you're passing one and you don't have an AC in your car, you are going to inhale that. You know, airborne disease now. So the health implication comes in as well.
Yeah.
So if that is not good enough to motivate you to keep everywhere clean, how about the money that you're going to make from it? I think that in FCT, the approach that Lagos State is taking, we need to borrow that as well. Now, those who are saying democracy, we can't have a monthly sanitation as we used to have it under the military. Remember, that was the challenge we had with that conversation. I think that we need to stop all this of idea of is democracy, then whatever that they are not doing there, we should not do here. We are different people. We are Africans. We are Nigerians. We are Nigerians. The US is, the United States, they don't have monthly, or in Germany, they don't have a monthly cleanup. Doesn't mean we should follow them. They are hundreds and hundreds of years ahead of us. So for now, let's do that which works for us. Let every month is necessary. Since people don't have that discipline of cleaning their environment, the street where I live, I take it up on myself to make sure that I have good drainage with my own money. Bought blocks, paid somebody to make sure that there is good drainage on this side where my house is. On the other side, yes, I also own the empty land on that was the bet. There is, so once it rains, the place is not bad, but once it rains, the flood that is coming from other place, they have where and where to follow. You will not damage the road. That is number one. Number two, if I'm too busy as I am, I can employ somebody, give him 2K, 3K. He will help me weed the place, clear some things. Nothing stops me every morning or monthly Saturdays or Sundays to pick some plastics. If it's something I can burn, we burn. If I can't, you call the Ebola people to come, dispose them. Have a neat environment. If you even litter some, remember challenge that I think Osam was in that trip that day with Fortune or Efizi, where they had it was a reptile or one dangerous
one of the cleanup.
Yes, they did came out. If you have that kind of thing, the scorpion you're talking about, the reptiles like snakes and so on, they will go there and hide. Now you have children around your place where you're staying, the place where you're doing business. I've been in a market where they have this hip hop that was in Abuja, and then because the refuge is so big, then grasses started growing on them.
Yeah.
One day inside the market, a snake moved from that place, entered the market. And Abuja is a very funny place.
Yeah.
Everybody started shouting. But yes, nothing happened. They were able to kill the snake, but it could have been, it could have gone the other way. I mean, the snake, biting somebody, and before you know it, before you rush the person to the hospital, the person is gone. Remember in Nigeria, the venom, whatever we have for some of these reptiles, because it's not only snake. There are still other ones in the lizard family that their saliva is very poisonous as well. So we don't have those anti-venom or vaccine or whatever you call them to take in case there is emergency. And some of these things, when they attack you, in 5 minutes, if you don't get help, or 10 minutes, you're gone. So let's leave it open. Choose what motivates you, but we need to do it.
We need to do it.
We need to do it. If it's the money that will come from it, let it motivate you. It's about your health, then let that motivate you. By all means, we need to have a clean environment. We are calling on, yes, our president, I don't know if he's back. I think he traveled to one of these countries or so on. We always talk about bringing investors. A friend of mine told me how he went to Dubai in they have very beautiful cars that they use as taxi.
Yeah.
You are not even allowed to eat inside the car. He couldn't. I think the driver did not allow him. I don't know whether it has to do with a particular city. Those of them who is there, this our brother is there. You can explain. So that you don't dirty the car or you don't trash stuff there. They no burn you. Say you empty your gum pepper. You drop it on the floor. You will pay. So let us begin to borrow some things. Start with the one that works for us. A Fizzy came to my place the last time before he traveled, and I finished drinking sachet water. I was still looking for a basket where I can dump it. And while I was able to get one and dumped it, just within a space of 5 seconds, somebody just finished his own, did it like this. A Fizzy just... Can you see two things that just happened? You've been looking for a basket to trash your own sachet water later. Did you see how this guy disposed it? So we laughed about it. We need to change.
I'm surprised he didn't carry Koboko to follow the man, because I think there was a particular instance where he described somebody that ate granuts and just flung the shells out of his car, and he drove and followed the person and told the person to clean it up.
Auntie Somi, in this part of the world where we value culture and so on, somebody said something on social media, and the person was like, we can't correct him, he's an elder. I said, this is what is killing us.
Was this person that told you what I was?
This person, an elder? I can't remember he's an elder, but I know he's an elderly, somebody who should know better. In this part of where you say you don't correct an elder, no. Just like a Fizzy described the person who just wound down his glass and then flung dirt out of the place. You see somebody dressed with suit, looking as if he's one mayor somewhere. Now behaving like, in fact, the motorbike tout behaves better than him. What do? We need to start. When you see an elderly person in a market, in a plaza, behave like a child, treat him like a child as well. See, we will not allow a few to rubbish all of us.
So two things. We need to bring back the culture of environmental sanitation.
True.
There's no going around.
Yeah.
Number two, we need to bring back the culture of shame.
Exactly.
We need to bring back the culture of shame. I think at this point, considering how grievous some of these things have become, we need to just say it as it is and start to name and shame. Name and shame. But at the same time, while being cautious. I remember the last time we were talking about this, somebody said he cautioned his neighbor for open defecation, and the person came at him with a knife. So we need to be cautious, but at the same time, I think it starts with building communities who are sensitized towards these things. So if you have to take on that neighbor, for example, that was openly defecating, maybe you're not doing it alone. There is a community.
If you have a neighbor that is a very unreasonable person, you report to the right person. If you have a street union or something, report to the chairman or somebody so that the community will now go and handle him. So instead of them, because there are people everywhere you go, you see them. Anywhere where I live, I see those people. There's always a problem in the WhatsApp group where somebody will wake up, you know that A is A. This is what you're supposed to do. But you see him or her behaving as if he's an animal. So there are people like that everywhere.
I think I'll subscribe to first thing, build community. But while we were talking about it, our community chief leader just walked in. Our elder, the very right Dr. Professor,
Dr. Prof,
Honorable,
and Chief.
It's been a while since we've had him here, so allow me to fluff him up a little bit. Right, Dr. Reverend.
Osan
for God. Good to have you here, sir.
Welcome.
I'm so privileged to be here.
We're privileged to have you.
Yeah, I did it. I thought I could make it last Monday.
Yeah.
I love the topic, but I couldn't. But when I checked the topic today again, I said I would be here.
Okay.
And then something else very strong also contributed to my being here at all cost.
Okay.
Now let me contribute to this very topic.
Okay.
You see, all the opinions that have been set forth, splendid. But the most important one is that of self-discipline. I love that aspect of shaming them, shaming people. 2 weeks ago, I was in a public place, like a market, and a beautiful car was passing, and they drove past, and then some people ate granite, corn, and threw them through the window. I turned and looked at the car. My conscience didn't let me. I ran after the car. I made sure that car was stopped. The occupants were brought down. They
go and pick that.
People gave them 3 brooms, and they swept that place.
Wow. Now,
the innocent woman who was helping people from work never knew about this action. But the people she helped were the ones who were that careless. When they did the apology after sweeping the place, they swept even much more than they spoiled. And the woman said, "Look, I couldn't have done this. I never knew these people. I met them on the way." Yesterday again, I was driving along Kubo, that on top of this Abuja bridge. The road under the bridge is not too good. Yeah. And so if you want to have a small ride, you have to climb the bridge and then go down. Just on the slope, a beautiful car, full air condition. They wind down their glass, and then they threw 1, 2, 3 big bottles of Ragolis water. And I was with a female magistrate, and we were complaining. So I looked at the environment. If I stopped them, they were ahead of us. We tried to see if we can overtake them to block them. They were faster. Do you understand now? So the culture of shaming people who are, deliberately spoiling the government effort. The government is trying, and they can try more. But the government, who is the government? By the people, and for the people, and by ourselves. Now, if the government is doing their bit, and we have self-discipline to know that this road is too good, too clean, you can't just drink 3 regulars and you're throwing on that place. There was no death around that area. There was no reason why that woman, whoever that was in that car, should start it up. I think I would be very ashamed that even if my daughter is in my car, then maybe they take sweet and then they throw the wrap outside the car. I would be very much ashamed. Now, as I was coming, I listened to Mazi talking about the people who are comparing us to and saying democracy. These countries you are talking about, democratic norms where people are not compelled to do certain things like clean up. They are self-discipline. These same Nigerians, when they enter into this country from the airport, they respect themselves.
Yeah.
So if a country that has built such standard,
culture.
Yes, such culture, and then we are this maybe someone said somebody Tuleshe, somebody Daleru, somebody else is sparing, another person is spoiling. Now let's own this country. I am not a member of any political party, either by influence, either by proxy, or in any form. I do not support any particular party. I go for individuals. But the truth is that for everyone that will be saying the minister of FCT, for everyone that will be saying the president, would the president be everywhere to culture you, to train you, that you did not need to throw out things from the car? Is that the president? Shouldn't it be something that I should be ashamed of to do? Now, everybody comes from home, in your home. When you eat the wrap, or when you eat corn in your sitting room, do you take it to the bedroom to throw to throw? When you eat the wrap, or when you eat corn in your sitting room, do you take it to the bedroom to throw the shaft? The answer is no. We have beings in our home.
So are you sure the answer is
I agree with you. So you can imagine what such people would do in the public. Now, there's a place called, I don't know if I should mention the name. I should mention the name. We just talked about shaming people now. The Treasury Academy in Orozo. The Treasury Academy in Orozo is a federal government institution. They have students, in this case now mature students, civil servant, public servant, who come there, to be trained on treasury things, accountability, and all of that now. And I think it contributes to their CV in terms of the public service and civil service for promotion. Offered, some of them are enjoying free accommodation. Some even stay with their families and their children. Somi, I challenge you, and I challenge anybody to challenge me. Go to the hostels where some of them are not paying, and even those who are paying are just paying stipends. Visit the toilets. Yours truly will never use such toilets. Because even from the entrance, you wouldn't believe that human beings so exposed in Abuja, if the government, if the school or cleaners couldn't do all the cleanup, shouldn't you take it upon yourself?
To do that.
I'm not talking about one person, two person, plenty of them. Shouldn't you say, we in this wing, having this public bathroom and toilet, let's come together, even if it's weekly, to clean it, but no. They would rather tie their towel, climb the dirty, muddy water, use the stinking toilet, leave it the way it is, and come out. Very shameful. And if you do not see government thing as your own, I can promise you, there's no way you go extra mile. Until we get to that point whereby we agree. In that same place, they will use the lights. In the daytime, the lights at the corridor, the toilet.
Everything's still on.
Some will leave their fan on, go travel. Why? Because nobody's bringing the bills to you. Until we see government things as our thing, I can promise you, nothing can be done. Sanitation should be brought back.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that anything that the military did
is okay.
That it was a military regime does not mean that we don't have anything to learn from them or something to copy. The idea of the sanitation may not be the entire solution, but I can promise you to contribute. Some of you said, even in Lagos, where they are doing it monthly, they are still complaining. Yes, they may be complaining, but the complaint would have been more if such a
nothing
is
going
on in place.
Yeah. Okay. I'm great suggestions thus far. Thank you so much to my elders. Thank you for making it still, Dr. Sang for God. We'll take a few messages, take some calls, and then after the break, we'll come back and wrap up the conversation. But for me, one of the biggest takeaways, and hopefully by the time we come back, while we're wrapping it up, I'm going to put it out there. Sometimes, really and truly, I know I complained about this when it first came out then, and that's probably why it died down. A lot of people complained about it. But sometimes change really and truly begins with me. I don't say you now, me. So you too, you'll be saying it. Change begins with, point your hand to your face. Yeah. Me. And so, as far as, like I said, we're one of the primary stakeholders, whether beneficiaries or people who suffer from this, we ought to think about how to make this work. I'll give us a few minutes to let it ruminate, take calls, take messages, and when we come back, we're going to come up with a white paper. Is it white paper? White paper.
I need the paper, any color with the paper like
on how we can start this. Yes. Oh no, we've talked solutions, but you see, one thing that I believe in a lot is talk and do. We won't just talk about it, but we will see how we can start the initiative again. Like I said, the mayor started it sometime in 2021. Hopefully, some of you will join hands with me. But like as Mazi said, think about it from different angles. Think about the different motivations. If it's not health, it's the wealth angle. Also think about the damage that it can do to the environment long term. And think about what it even says of you as a person to continue to live in that area with that a heap of whatever it is that is going on, that environmental hazard that is going on. I'll take one call, take some messages, and then we'll come back after the break. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Welcome.
So I've been enjoying this talk so much because I really have issues with it. I think it's not just even about our garbage, all those trash and the rest, even grasses. People should. Sorry, my name is AB. I'm calling from Jabi.
Welcome, AB.
People people are not cutting their grasses. If you have a neighbor that doesn't take note of those things, help them do it. When you want to pay for your own service, for theirs too. Let's do something about our. It's just very somehow that sometimes you travel out, come back. And then you're just so ashamed that your environment is different. Like it's really bad. And sometimes when I do these things, people say it's OCD. So people have tagged it that if you're clean, then you have OCD problem. But it's not OCD. It's just you trying to make your life better, your health better. Like myself, I always tell people that whenever my kids are on holidays, they are hardly sick because the environment is 24/7 clean. So it starts from even within your house. It starts from your house, then, to your environment. Your environment, tells the kind of person you are. So please, let's just improve. There was a day I was in a conference, in fact, just this Saturday, and they gave people small chops, and people were dropping it on the floor. I had to go and meet the conference organizers. Please, can you give me dustbins? I collected these black bags. And then I started passing it row by row. Put your trash inside. And you see how some people were responding. And pick this one for me. They thought maybe I was a cleaner or something. Let's just have this culture of being clean around us. Let it irritate us when the place is dirty. Let it make us have this, let us feel, irritated when our environment is not nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, AB. I'm going to come back to you in a little bit, but let's take this break.
Finally here, from Monday to Saturday at 7 p.m. Plenty Nigerians will stand a chance to win big. To join, just dial *900# on your MTN line. Then every recharge from 100 Naira